Hey, it's opening weekend. My name is Tony. It's Barbenheimer. Barbie or Oppenheimer? Barbie or Oppenheimer? What's it gonna be? Well, how about both? Or not? How about right out of the theater feedback for Christopher Nolan's new film, Oppenheimer? Right here, right now. I got this gentleman again. You saw Oppenheimer, Christopher Nolan, yeah. Do you realize they have been showing trailers for this movie? I want to say last July, I saw Nope. I'm pretty sure I saw an Oppenheimer trailer. They promoted it. I mean, they put some love and care into this movie.
Oh, yeah. I mean, listen, like I said again, if it wasn't for my friend Wilds, pushing this movie, you never really truly know what a movie's gonna be like. You know, this is just a poster, but until you see it, you don't know of your own personal opinion. I will tell you, listen, Oppenheimer.
Christopher Nolan, man.
Christopher Nolan. I mean, not just Christopher Nolan, but everyone in the movie. Right. Everyone who acted in this movie did a superior. And the reason why this movie was absolutely out of this world is because it was all based on true history. This is all history. And a missing part of history that me, myself, 23 years old, I wasn't alive during the war, and I wasn't alive during the Cold War, and,
You're 23? I'm jealous, man.
I'm jealous of you. I'm jealous of you.
No, don't be, man.
Yeah, the coolest name ever, Tony.
Thanks.
Subscribe.
Listen, thank you.
There is not enough minutes or enough feelings or enough opinions I can have about this movie that would ever get you to understand the historical significance, the absolute terror that this movie has provided.
I can imagine.
Through the minds of people that at the end of the day, this movie is not just about going and seeing it. I mean, this movie follows you to the car, to your house, and it really is was a magnificent picture. I mean, no CGI. And I mean, listen, sometimes at some moments it felt like it was a thriller. Right. At some moments, I mean, of course it's a nonfiction, but some moments I felt like I was in World War II. I mean, Robert Downey Jr. even had an opinion on it. He said himself that this was the best film that he's ever been able to partake in. And I mean, like, that was such a beautiful thing to hear because he's played in a lot of movies. And, I mean, listen, again, guys, I mean, you got to see this movie. I mean, if you want to know anything about what's going on in these current updates of times, I mean, we live in one of the craziest times right now in the world.
We sure do.
Oppenheimer really shows a bright light on that. And, I mean, personally, I didn't know too much about Einstein. I only learned brief things about him. But being able to see him in a movie, or not him personally, being able to see him just being depicted in a movie and, who he was, and being able to see I mean, guys, like I said, I've seen it yesterday. I'm still baffled. I mean, 3.5 hours of watching it was like being introduced to a part of history that they're not going to teach you in school. They're not going to teach you in a book. I mean, listen, this is part of the war that a lot of people don't talk about. They just talk about Truman. They talk about the bomb. They're talking about Hitler, but they're not talking about the deep behind scenes about what's going on right now. I mean, we live in a Cold War right now, and this brings a lot of truth to what's going on right now and a lot of reasons to why society is the way it is because of this guy right here. And if you want to see a movie that you're going to sit and watch and you're going to learn a lot, I mean, there's not a lot of times where you go to movie theaters and learn a part about history that you may have never thought you would have ever had access to. I mean, Oppenheimer, Christopher Nolan, seriously, thank you guys for making this movie. I'm gonna be watching this movie to the end of time. I gotta rewatch this movie to make sure I'm updated with history.
Nice.
This movie was out of this world right here.
How was Jason Bourne?
Mission Impossible?
No, Matt Damon.
Oh, Matt Damon, dude.
Great, right?
Matt Damon he always does a good job. Matt Damon's the man.
Of course.
Great part. I mean, dude. I wish I could talk about every single little detail of this movie, but there's so much aspects to it that words can't express. I mean, you guys gotta see this movie. You gotta see this movie.
May I say something to you?
Of course.
We just did 2 interviews, not to bore you, not to bore people watching, but why don't you have your own channel or podcast? Are you too busy?
I want to say that I got so much going on in life. I mean, I breed dogs. I just purchased property. I'm doing a bunch of things that, this is my downtime right here. Being able to come and see the movies and see the downtime. And personally, I feel like I don't have the vocabulary to articulate sometimes some of the beautiful
Are you serious?
Things
this interview, man, for Oppenheimer was out of this world. What are you kidding? Not to denigrate anybody, but I mean, a lot of people just come out and they're like, "Hey, how'd you like the movie?" Yeah, it's all right. this conversation is flowing. You're so articulate. What are you talking about?
And trust me, it's not me, Tony. I'm telling you, it's the beautiful thing. I mean, we got music, we got paintings, and one of the most recent things in history that were created. Listen, I don't know how it was 1,000 years ago. Did the Egyptians have movies? I don't know.
Of course not. Yeah.
Were they watching Oppenheimer? I'm not
Probably
sure.
not.
I'm not sure. But I tell you, listen, movies are a gift from God. I tell you, there's so much to learn.
Especially a movie like this.
Yes, sir. And what other things that can you go and watch and come out and feel like a whole new person, have a whole new mindset, have a whole new take on life? And I promise you, this is. Maybe I'll get into it one day. I'm writing some reviews, but I mean, movies have changed my life. Movies shaped my life. I watch movies as much as I can because you know there's so much packed in 2.5 hours. I mean, I don't know how much money was in this budget, but I can promise you, I soaked it all in.
Yeah.
I soaked it all in. I love movies, man.
You know,
Movies
if you go into New York City, right,
Yes.
you could see it old school. You know what I'm talking about? You could see it in 70 millimeter, like on film.
You can?
You can.
This movie.
This movie. You have to go to.
That would be crazy.
If you got the time, or if anybody watching
Yeah.
this has the time, you got to go to AMC in Lincoln Center, in Lincoln Square. It's Broadway and 66.
Wow, Broadway and 66, AMC Lincoln. Definitely gonna check that out.
They
Wow.
have all the formats. They have this.
Wow.
They have IMAX. They have like I just said, 70 millimeter. It's insane.
I'm gonna have to check it out. I mean, another thing that really brought me to this movie, I didn't see it in IMAX personally.
Right,
You don't
this is
have
just
to see it in
regulated.
IMAX. This is not Mission Impossible.
Right.
Mission Impossible, you gotta see in IMAX, people. Please see that.
Yeah.
Well, Oppenheimer, you can see on Dolby. I mean, when you see the film for the
Mm-hmm.
IMAX that they had created, I mean, it barely fit on the stand for the turntable, which has them, film it out. And like, that's another reason why I came out. I mean, they put so much time into it. I had, you gotta respect people. All the actors in this movie had not only played parts in some of the greatest movies and biggest franchise in the world, so you gotta ask yourself, I mean, all these actors in the movie, what significance could this movie play? And I mean, these actors have a choice whether they want to be in these movies or not.
Of course.
So when they're in these movies, you gotta ask yourself, why are these in these movies? And personally, to me, I feel like we live in a time where you gotta see this movie.
Yeah.
You gotta see this movie. We're living in another Cold War, and this is a movie about the other Cold War and the other war. And this movie has played a lot. The theme of this entire movie, listen, guys, this is a long movie. You're
It's
gonna
3
feel
hours.
like it's gonna end at some point towards the end, but it's not. The whole point of the movie is the last couple seconds with the conversation with Einstein. You got to see it. You got to feel it. And you listen. Tony is the guy. Tony is the guy.
You're the guy, man. I really
listen.
appreciate this interview. This is the
Yeah,
better.
of
This is
course.
probably this is probably up there with all the best.
Wow, that's
You know what I'm
awesome.
saying? I mean, you thought, what made you think this wasn't a good interview, bro?
Listen, God is good, and listen,
Yeah.
it's a great interview. But I just can't.
Thanks to you.
I just can't believe I'm not. Out of all these years you've been doing this, Tony, this is one of the best interviews of all time. Listen,
Yeah.
I would be surprised how many other movie lovers are there out there that
They're
wouldn't
few
give
and
this
far
awesome.
between. They're few and far between. There
Yeah?
are people who just go to the movies to park their ass and soak up
Yeah.
some air conditioning, and then there are people who like you and some other people who come on who are regulars.
Yeah.
I'd like it if you became a regular, man.
Listen, I am a super regular. I woke up this morning, I was like this on my phone. And when you go on your phone, you hit the Safari and it tells you your recent. My most clicked is AMC to see the show times. So I
Me
clicked the
too.
show times. I said 30% off. I said, listen, I gotta come see Cobweb. I gotta come see it. My
And
friend
Oppenheimer.
recommended. Yeah, Oppenheimer.
Oppenheimer, right.
Yes, I mean this
all right.
movie week. I think this movie year. I mean, I'm ready for Dune Part 2.
Of course.
Oh my, that was one of
It's
the
gonna
best
be a
pictures
great-
I've ever seen ever.
The
I'll
summer
tell
ain't
you.
over yet, man. And
The
then we got
summer is not over. There's
and then
a
we got
lot
the
of
fall.
hits. Yes,
Yep.
and I think the new Exorcist movie that's coming out, that movie too.
Did they
that
show
looks
it?
scary.
This is a Universal movie. Did they show the trailer?
During the trailer of Oppenheimer.
There's a
yes,
trailer.
they did.
Oh,
yes,
baby.
that movie
It's
was
called
terrifying.
Exorcist Beginnings. What is it called?
I'm not sure, but all I know is that I'm scared.
Okay.
That's all I know. I'm scared and I'm ready to enjoy being scared.
Nice. Well, I think you said it all, man. We've been standing here for almost 10 minutes. This is my longest. Well, I don't know what to say except that was awesome, and I hope to see you again and have a good weekend.
Yes,
it was
sir,
really
Tony.
good talking
Thank you
to
again.
man.
I'm gonna remember this for a long, long time, and I hope you stay friends. Maybe we check a movie out together. Who knows?
I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, for sure. Subscribe to Tony's channel.
Wait,
please.
one more thing. Now I'm
Of
going to hold you
course.
for 11 minutes.
No, hold
Do
me
you-
as long as you want.
this is his movie for Universal. His Warner Brothers was his home, and he had a thing of over Tenet because they wouldn't release it during the pandemic.
Yes.
And then when they did release it, it was just like they just dropped it out there, and not like movie theaters in New York City and Los Angeles weren't open, and he wanted them to wait, Warner Brothers, and they just didn't.
For Oppenheimer?
No, for Tenet.
I didn't see Tenet.
But that was Christopher Nolan.
I didn't see that movie.
But that was Nolan's though, right?
Nah,
you know
I
your stuff.
I'm gonna have to see. I mean, Christopher Nolan. I mean, after this
he has
movie,
been making movies for
Warner.
Warner Brothers forever. I think he made Dunkirk, right? And
Dunkirk.
Yeah, just a lot of other stuff. And this is his movie for Universal. He sort of like broke ties with Warner Brothers. And he there was word on the street that since Barbie is coming out today,
yes,
and that's Warner Brothers, he was pissed about it. But then he took the high road and he was like, you know what? Hey, live and let live. You know what I mean?
For sure. Listen, I'm not putting down Barbie. I did not see it.
It's a different audience.
For sure. Personally, me, I'm going to wait till it's home. Maybe I'll check it out on TV or whatever. But if you're a real movie lover, this is the one you're going to see first before Barbie.
Yeah, I was just going to say.
For sure, guys. Barbie is the hype. I mean, listen, it's probably made more money. I mean, the girls are having fun. The kids are having fun. They're dressing up.
That's fine. Yeah.
AMC is back. Movies are back.
Yep.
But listen, if movies are back,
then support
Christopher Nolan is who you got to support. Barbie
course.
and them, they're going to be doing. Margot Robbie is going to be doing Well Off. Trust me.
Yeah.
Trust me when I tell you. Trust me. This is the movie you got to see.
You got to go see this, kid.
Yes, sir.
All right. It's been 11 minutes. Let me let you go.
Tony, I really appreciate it. Everyone, please subscribe. This is the guy. I mean, if he travels all around town, he does all his work, and listen, it's perfect work. He does the best reviews. It's non-biased. He's asking everybody. Listen,
Yep.
He happened to pick me out the rubble, so I appreciate it, Tony. I appreciate it.
Thanks for saying yes. All too often
course.
people say no, like I smell bad or something.
I did smell something. The
That's
best
not
movie
me.
guy ever is what I smelled. I was
Hey,
like,
you're the man.
Sniffed him out. Sniffed him out.
Thanks a million, bro.
Of course.
Wow, look at that. Right out of the theater feedback for Oppenheimer. Wasn't that guy great? A record-breaking interview in terms of length. I hope you stood by for all of it because all of his words were gold. And I want to thank that gentleman. I hope to see him again, really. Very rarely does that happen. It's happened, but not rarely. Not as often as it should. Sir, if you're watching, thanks a million. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. And I hope you watch every single second.